Not long ago, I was riding the train home pretty late, like around 11 p.m. I was just reading on my phone, minding my own business. As my stop was getting closer, I happened to glance up and notice this guy who looked to be around 20. He seemed normal, wearing regular clothes and had a kind of neutral face. We locked eyes for a brief moment and then he looked away. But here's the thing. I can't explain it exactly, but I just had this gut feeling that he had bad intentions. It was like his attention was all on me, like he was sizing me up. Even though he tried to act chill, I could tell he was watching me way too closely. So, I put my phone away and held onto my bag tighter. I tried to seem like I wasn't bothered, just looking bored as my stop approached. When the doors opened, I stayed seated for a bit, checking if he'd get up. Nope, he stayed put. Quick decision. I stood up and left the train, but guess what? He jumped up right before the doors closed, like he remembered it was his stop. That's when I knew things were about to get real. He was a few steps ahead of me, heading towards the exit stairs. I followed behind him, walking at a super slow pace. He started slowing down too, doing weird stuff like stretching and wandering around. I could tell he wanted me to pass him, so he could sneak up on me, but I wasn't falling for that. I wanted to keep an eye on him. Finally, I figured it was better to get past him than end up alone with him in a long, empty subway tunnel at night. So I picked up the pace just enough to get ahead of him. He followed me up the stairs, acting casual, but I could still feel his attention on me, like a laser beam. I got to the top of the stairs and started walking towards the exit. He was a couple steps behind me. There were subway workers around, but I knew that once I was out on the street, it would be just me and him in my kinda quiet neighborhood. I knew he was trailing me, and I didn't want him to figure out where I lived, so I suddenly stopped, turned around, and stared right at him. He acted innocent, looking up at the ceiling like he was just chilling. But after a second, he turned and went back down the other set of subway stairs, going in the total opposite direction he'd been headed. Either he realized he was lost, or he figured out that I wasn't an easy target and had to ditch his plan. I waited a few seconds to make sure he was really gone. Just before he disappeared onto the platform, he shot me the nastiest look, like he was full of pure hate. It gave me chills, I swear. I don't know what he had in mind for the night, but I messed up whatever it was, and he was seriously angry about it. I waited a little longer on the exit stairs, making sure he wasn't coming after me. Then I practically ran home, checking over my shoulder the whole way. The worst part, he probably went off to find someone else to mess with. So remember, always be alert out there, because sometimes the danger looks like an everyday person. I was waiting for my train after a long day of traveling. The station was eerily empty, the only sound being the distant hum of the flickering overhead lights. As I looked down the dimly lit platform, I noticed a man sitting on a bench at the far end. He was dressed in outdated attire, like something out of an old photograph. His face was obscured by the shadows, but his presence sent shivers down my spine. Trying to ignore my unease, I focused on my phone, attempting to distract myself. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the man rise from the bench and start walking towards me. My heart raced, and I felt a knot of dread forming in my stomach. He moved with an odd, stiff gait, each step deliberate and slow. I couldn't tear my gaze away as he got closer and closer. The strangest part, his footsteps made no sound, not a single echo against the cold concrete floor. As he drew near, I felt frozen in place, unable to look away from his shadowed figure. He passed right by me, and I felt a gust of icy wind as if he were made of pure cold. The temperature plummeted, and a chilling whisper brushed against my ear, a voiceless, haunting sigh that seemed to linger in the air. I turned to look back, but the man had vanished. The silence of the station was back, accompanied only by the low hum of the lights. That encounter left me rattled, questioning the nature of what I had just witnessed. Was it a ghost, an apparition from another time? I couldn't shake the feeling that I had brushed against something beyond the realm of the living. One evening, I found myself caught in the grip of a terrifying mystery that unfolded amidst the hustle and bustle of a bustling train station. The platform was a cacophony of activity, a microcosm of life with commuters anxiously scurrying to catch their trains home. Amidst this orchestrated chaos, I stood lost in my own thoughts when an anomaly disrupted the rhythm around me. An enigmatic woman stood perilously close to the edge, her gaze unwaveringly fixed on the tracks below. In this sea of transient faces, she stood like a solitary figure, frozen in time, a brushstroke of melancholy against the vibrant backdrop of urgency. As my attention settled on her, it became apparent that her countenance held a profound sadness, as if she were peering into a world only she could perceive. The weight of her unspoken sorrow was palpable, and an unrelenting curiosity gnawed at my mind, urging me to comprehend the currents beneath her still exterior. The impending arrival of a train injected a new dimension of tension into the scene. Logic dictated that she would retreat to safety like any rational being, yet against reason's counsel, she advanced, taking a single step forward. Her gaze remained locked on a distant horizon, seemingly oblivious to the imminent peril. Panic surged within me, a desperate urge to intervene and save her from the impending disaster. I raised my voice in a frantic cry, a plea carried by the wind, urging her to step back from the edge of oblivion, but her stance remained unyielding, an unsettling contrast against the impending calamity. The train's horn blared a desperate warning, the sound reverberating through the station like an alarm of impending doom. My heart raced, a captive audience to a tragedy that was seconds away from unfolding. And then, the impossible transpired. As the train hurtled forward with a momentum impossible to halt, she vanished from sight. It was as though the fabric of reality had momentarily frayed, erasing her from existence before my disbelieving eyes. The screech of brakes filled the air, the train coming to a juddering halt. Commuters morphed into a frantic search party, their cries a chorus of confusion and concern. Law enforcement materialized at the scene, their official demeanor a stark contrast to the pandemonium around them. A meticulous search was conducted, an attempt to untangle the threads of this mystifying vanishing act. Yet, the woman remained elusive, leaving behind only questions and a lingering sense of unease. As the night wore on, the station remained an arena of whispers and speculations. I was left to grapple with the boundaries of reality and the unknown, an encounter that defied the rational confines of human understanding. In that fleeting moment, I had been granted a glimpse into a world where the tangible and the enigmatic converged, where the ordinary veiled the extraordinary. And as the station gradually emptied, a haunting question lingered. What secrets did that woman's inexplicable disappearance carry, and how thin is the veil that separates our world from the unfathomable?